Welcome to panel 5, healthcare capital allocation. My name is John Milanovich. I've been with the Family Office Club for 2 years. I'm excited to be part of this panel. First, I wanted to remind you, so we do have Mitzi Purdue. There'll be a fireside chat right after this panel. And then after that is the $1 billion family office panel, which is a great one, so stick around. In my role, every day I talk with healthcare and biotech companies looking to raise capital. By a show of hands, who in here is associated with a healthcare company or is a healthcare investor? Interesting, great. We have a great panel today of investors in healthcare. We have a series of 5 questions, which I'm asking each one, but they've been kind and gracious about accepting, and wanted to first introduce. Do you mind kind of talking about your background and what you like to invest in, and then you can go ahead and go over the questions as far as what's the number one type of investment you're looking for right now, what you find most interesting, and you can kind of go from there.
Okay, so my name is. I am a longevity and concierge physician. I used to work for author of Outlive, and then I basically started my own medical practice, which uses wearable technologies to track sleep, glucose, blood pressure, and other items to further and help people's quality of life as well as lengthen their life.
What's your preferred structure?
So in general, when I think about investments, I realize that this entire longevity field is growing so much over the past 5 years. Really, the opportunity comes with concierge practices and what they're using as far as wearables, and to try and find a VC fund that has private vehicles to invest in these companies early on.
What kind of when you say wearables, can you define that and kind of discuss some of the interest on that side?
So I think it's different companies track in different ways, but 8 Sleep is a mattress that tracks sleep. There's the Oura Ring, there's Whoop, Apple Watch. There's a lot of new technologies entering the market, but also there's early stage companies that are now continuously checking blood pressure. There's obviously the pharma companies which are using continuous glucose monitors to monitor glucose as well. And these are all just new aspects that longevity and concierge doctors are using to try and further patients' quality of life and prevent them from getting disease, rather than previously we used these wearables to make sure that we were monitoring patients that were already with diabetes or high blood pressure.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I have a 3-year-old going on 4, and I was just thinking about how medicine has grown even in my, from the time that I've in the past 20 years. What are some trends in healthcare that you think, okay, if I was projecting forward 5 and 10 years, obviously wearables, fantastic. What other trends do you see as being opportunities in space?
So I think obviously we always talk about technology when we talk about all fields, but I think in the healthcare space, there's just so much farther to go. We haven't used technology to try and scale this concierge or longevity field yet. I don't know which one's going to win or if there's going to be one winner, but I think the entire field is growing and there's going to be different ways to track these biomarkers, labs, DEXA scans, VO2 max testing. These are all ways that there's going to be an app or a website that's tracking all these stuff from the ages of 25 to when you're 80. You're going to know all of these markers, which I don't think any of us know this stuff or what we had 20 years ago.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And how will you, from taking that information with you as you grow as a human, are there technologies around that, the data collection, that you're interested in or no?
I think right now it's hard because we're still trying to figure out which markers people would want to keep track of. But I think the idea is that we want to not leave healthcare behind when we talk about all these other investments that people are making, whether it's real estate, whatever other investments there are. Healthcare can use technology, wearables, devices, and the market's growing. There's not going to be one winner when it comes to these. So it's just, there's a huge opportunity right now, I feel like, in the field.
What's a number one most valuable insight or lesson you've learned in your investing profession or background?
I think for me, it's realizing that there's not going to be one winner when it comes to these. There's going to be Apple Watch. There's going to be people that use Whoop. There's going to be people that use Aura. You don't have to choose the right one. You just have to enter this field. You have to enter this industry. And so that's the one thing that I've realized. And the reason for that is high net worth individuals or people that have the money understand that the only way to spend that money is to live as long as possible and to live a quality life. Sure. And so they're willing to put money behind investments and allowing these companies to grow the way they should be. Whereas I think previously, if it didn't work early on, these companies failed.
Oh, thank you. Hi, how are you?
Hi, John. Hi, glad to be here today. Thank you.
Great. Can you tell us, your background, what you like to invest in, preferred structures, etc.?
Hi, my name is Shirley. I'm from New York. I work for a single family office, and I'm also a CMO of a public healthcare company on NASDAQ, and which is actually backed by the family office. That I'm here today to speak on behalf of the public company that we actually involved in 6 specialized hospitals, as well as we have our own distribution arm in pharma and medical devices products. And last year, actually the first quarter of last year, we also acquired a nutraceutical supplement company in California.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
If you were investing, what company or what kind of what would you be looking for today?
As for today, we're actually taking a pause right now to just evaluating the trend going on in healthcare, because I think right now the whole industry, we're facing a high pressure of the high interest rate. With that, we have looked at a lot of also startups and good medical devices companies in the last 15 months. But I think the figure has not been really satisfying for us to make the final strike. So we're taking a pause right now. Thank you.
Oh, what would be a change in that? What would kind of cause you in your firm to kind of reevaluate that?
Actually, personally, when I look at these companies, I find them very interesting because it's amazing how in U.S., we have this very fertile soil for R&D, especially from schools, and then some doctors, they just came out and they are innovators themselves. Right. But however, so I would say there was still a very good opportunity to getting some of these good startups, from the seeds round. But from a public company's point of view, that we are looking more than that, and we need to give value to our investors. So for us, it's not that interesting.
Sure.
What insights can you say that you've learned would be their number one insight as far as lesson learned for your past in investing?
For my past investing or from my past experience?
Both.
Okay. Let me tell you more a bit about myself. That actually, I have a very diverse background. I was be someone who said that I have a portfolio career. So for the family office that I was involved in before, I worked for 8 years. That I was actually involved in oil and gas, sports management, and media. Those are the 3 areas from my formal family office investing, and I was lucky enough to look at those industries. And then when COVID hit, we all have a different story of COVID. I decided to challenge myself, and I founded and I invested in my own company in distributing luxury consumer goods to the China travel retail channels, because that country was locked up for 3 years, 3 whole years. And the only consumption channel for every Chinese consumers is actually travel retail channels, because they couldn't travel outside the country at all. And I was doing very well. And then I got an offer from this family office based in New York, and I decided to jump back on the boat again. So from my personal experience, I would tell everyone is like really to be prepared, because I don't define myself as anyone I work for, but I think it's, we will see another black swan event coming up very soon. Talking about risk management here, I think every one of us, we need to have our own strategy. And then so when the timing is right, the opportunity is always for the well-prepared ones. Thank you.
Thank you. Doug.
Hey, John, how are we doing today?
Really good. So tell me about your background. I understand you helped the New York Giants. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, so hi, good evening, guys. My name is Dr. I'm the orthopedic doctor for the New York. So pretty much what does that mean? So I call myself the athletic auditor. Pretty much, let's say the coach comes to me and they say, hey, listen, Dr. 42, I'm going to have him do a 40-yard dash right now. His left leg looks a little weird. Can you look at it for a couple of times? They'll do the 40-yard dash back and forth. I'll identify the problem. I'll audit the situation. I'll give them the research on that. And then from there, they'll make their own decision. With the NFL, the players are the entity. They are the money. So they're investing into them where we have feet in the seats. That's what I do.
That's fantastic. What do you like to invest in, or what are you looking for today would be as an investment in the healthcare or medical device biotech field?
Yeah, great question. So as we know, being in the medical field, the AI is taking over. Whether it's ChatGPT or Gemini, whatever it is, that is coming whether we like it or not. We really have to adapt with that. They're doing a lot of research studies now and showing that ChatGPT are getting symptoms and signs of people that are putting it into them 93% of the time correct. That's a pretty big number in medicine when we have human error that's already 5%. So that's already 95%. We already have to fight back with that, and they're already at 93. So that's a really big number. So what I'm really investing in right now is AI technology to make healthcare better, whether it's wearables, like you guys said, which is really helpful as the days go on, to just ChatGPT and Gemini and just software AI that makes note writing even better, and just picking up symptoms that maybe we want to brush off a little bit and we're not really interested in, and all those data coming back together leads to something larger that we're not really seeing.
And what other trends? I mean, obviously AI is huge game changer in the healthcare industry. Any other trends that you see are going to really play out over the next 5 years, in your opinion?
I would say probably with insurance. Insurance is a big thing. The noose around our neck, you can ask any medical provider in here or outside of here, the noose around our neck with insurance is getting tighter and tighter. We need more evidence, more data, more statistics to fight for you guys to get your health benefits correct. So that's probably something that I really want to see and hopefully should be seeing in the next 5 years that will help us get those MRIs that you guys want, those scans, basic, seeing a physician for a little bit of time. That's what really needs to happen. And I can see that happening in the next 5 years.
That's great. Number one most valuable insight you could give us, or lesson learned?
Yeah, totally. So I've been listening to a lot of these people in here, and I love what you guys are saying about, getting the investments, listening to the numbers and stuff like that. But I think we're missing one big element, and I think that's empathy. And I think that's a really big element in negotiation skills, listening to people. You have to remember, at the end of the day, if you want someone to buy into you, you have to make them feel real, I like to call it. Not just like a number, not just like somebody that you're just going to make money for them. You have to make them feel real. If they don't feel real, it's a hard sell to get them to buy into you, and vice versa. So I think tactical empathy is a really good trait that everyone should just kind of either focus on or just spend that little extra 10 seconds to get to know the person, recognize who they are, make them real in the situation that's at hand, and go from there.
As a sports fan, I would be negligent to not ask, how did you get involved with the New York?
You know what? I was once asked a question, what does it take to be successful? Is it grit or is it luck? And it's yes to both. You have to work hard, and one day your great ability of working hard collides with an opportunity to show it off. That's really all what luck is. That's my definition of luck. And that's what happened. I worked my butt off. I learned what I could. I got very in-depth with athletes and how I can help them and become an athletic auditor, like I like to call myself. One day, I got hooked up with somebody that knew the New York Giants. I said, hey, listen, I will come by for free. Just let me come by. Just let me watch. Maybe I can help you guys and give you a little nugget of advice that could help go from great to superior, whatever it was. I gave them that nugget of advice. It worked out, and the rest is history.
That's good. Thank you for that. Any particular from your investment background, any preferred structure? Like if it was a company out there looking to raise money, is there a certain way you like to invest?
You know, absolutely. Not, at the end of the day, there's no really big structure. I'm kind of open-minded to everything. As long as it's a feel-good, it feels good to me. It's good for the world as well. You got to keep the lights on. You have to face that at the end of the day. People need to make money. That's all that I'm really having for. Those are the big characters for me.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Dr. Ms. Myers.
Hi, how are you?
Very good. How are you?
Wonderful.
Thank you for being here. Just your background, your firm, etc., and what you're most excited about investing
Today.
Well, my name is Ali. My background is in general surgery. I had started a chain of varicose vein centers and grew it over 11 years, and it took us quite some time over those 11 years to grow and exit to private equity. And then at that point, we started the Misselmanny Family Office, where we look at medical offices and medical devices for us to invest in.
Well, thank you. When you look at that, what trends do you see that are either most concerning to you, or do you also see as an opportunity?
I think for us, the biggest opportunities we look for is how can it change the way medicine is practiced, and how can it improve the patient outcomes? What can we do to decrease the invasiveness of the procedure so that we can make the patient's experience shorter, better outcomes, less morbid? One of the things that people don't realize is that surgery is a trauma. How can we traumatize the patient less so that they can heal better and quicker and move on with their life?
Are you interested in robotics from that side, or?
There is a robot already out there it's called the Da Vinci robot. It's highly used across all surgical fields. Da Vinci, I forgot the name that started, but it was popularized by the urologists.
What's your number one investment that you'd be looking for today? I mean, how could we?
I think the biggest things we look for are medical practices that we can scale. I think if there's an economy of scale and it's a repeatable thing that we really look and dive deep into it. We've really looked at almost every specialty in medicine. Some we feel we can easily scale up and have an economy of scale. Then we know there's a lot that have very tight choke points where they're very difficult to scale.
Which would you say? So when you classify those, would you prefer? Is this is definitely a specialty that scales well? This is one that's.
I think it also has to, one of the biggest things is that when we were trying to scale something is who can we hire? Are there enough doctors to scale it? So in a lot of specialties and subspecialties, there's very few people graduating a year, so that if it's dependent upon one or two people, there's really no economy of scale.
What's the number one most valuable insight or lesson you've learned from investing that you could share with us today?
I think one of the biggest things we've learned along the way is don't be afraid to ask for help. There's a lot of people out there that know multiple different avenues. There's a lot of people who are your advisors, your accountants, your lawyers, your finance people, your mentors, people who have done things before you, people who have looked into these fields and have said, this has worked, this has not worked, what's new, what's not so new, what's failed, and don't be afraid to really ask for help.
From the provider versus the payer, like the insurance versus the doctor providers, what do you see as like the kind of top issues there?
I think the realization that everyone wants great concierge medicine and everyone wants the concierge medicine, but I think the reality is what most people don't realize is that everyone is bound by the insurance plan. So you're stuck with what the insurance tells you to do. Regardless of what your doctor tells you should be done, it really comes down to is what is the insurance going to pay? How are they going to pay it? And they will try very hard to make it as difficult as possible not to pay.
And from an allocation standpoint, when you look at your overall portfolio, how aggressive? I mean, when you think of that, you're using a certain part for the outreach or to find the practices to purchase? What percentage of your overall portfolio would that be versus your traditional asset class?
For us, it's 70% is medical offices. Wow. So that's where we feel like we can provide the best insight. And when we do invest in a medical practice, we do want to be involved. So after 18 years, we know that we see a lot of the pitfalls that are out there. And if we can help scale and decrease the learning curve, we know that we can get to a better outcome and provide better care along the way for the patients.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Bill.
Hey.
Hey, if I'm correct, I read that somehow you're connected to 100 million trees being planted. How's that?
Yeah, I co-founded a charity. I actually committed not to fly for over 10 years until we funded 100 million trees, lifted 2 million women out of poverty. They're planted all around the world. They're sustainably planted. And the women will defend those trees with their lives. In fact, I like to say that they cut the nuts off anyone before they cut the nut tree down.
That's fantastic.
That's great. Can you tell us a little bit about your firm or your investment strategy, et cetera?
So I also have a portfolio career. I am the chair of the board of SENS Foundation, which is one of the longest running longevity foundations in the world. I'm also chair of the board of Couture Fund, which is a food and medicine as well as general CVC fund. I'm also a general partner with SOSV and co-founded IndieBio. So between those, we have just about $2 billion under management, about 700 million dry powder, and something in the order of just shy of 1,000 investments in deep tech.
Wow. And with that dry powder, what are you looking for?
So we really look for deep tech. And like to define deep tech, if it needs the care and attention of 2 or more chemists, biologists or physicists for 10 years or more, that's probably deep tech. We have investments across the different portfolios in things like longevity pharma with a thing called Cyclarity, which is going to be curative and reverse arteriosclerosis, which is going to change the whole medical game. And that's going into phase 1 trials like next month. We invest in medical devices, like a wearable called Sava, which instead of a big stick in your arm, uses a microneedle array to measure blood glucose exquisitely accurately for extended periods, and it can change the game on wearables. We have invested in microbiome with proven clinical efficacy. If you are not taking Pendulum's glucose control or their new GLP-1 product, you are crazy. Like, it's just straight up great. We invest in food as medicine. We invest in things with clinical efficacy. And we look for companies that are doing smart stuff that use AI. Like the Cyclarity example uses a cyclodextrin dimer that captures 7-keto cholesterol and nothing else. And the only reason that was possible was because they used an AI to design the dimer. And normal cholesterol, like bad cholesterol and 7-keto, which is the toxic form, vary by 1 oxygen molecule. And this cyclodextrin dimer, and cyclodextrins are non-toxic, can capture just the 7-keto, make it soluble, and you pee it out, right? These are incredible changes in the world, and I see all of this at the absolute forefront. We are structure and stage agnostic, and really very much focused on where is the cutting edge. And my favorite quote is William Gibson: "The future has already happened, it's just not evenly distributed."
Where do you see your deal flow? I mean, with something that deep, traditionally, from a deep science standpoint, is that a lot of university research, or where do you get your deal flow for the allocations?
Well, IndieBio is a brand that I helped build over 10 years, so it is literally the leading startup accelerator for biotech. So where do we see the deal flow? They knock on our door every day. In fact, we have a great filter. We make them fill out a really long web form, and if they can't fill out the web form, that's good.
I guess, what's your number one most valuable insight you could give us from your investment background?
Sure. Here's the thing. an absolute balance in deep tech particularly, and you want to look at deep tech, it may take a little longer, but that's where you get the amazing world-changing stuff. To really be powerful, you have to get a balance between two things: smarts and hustle. If you don't have scientists absolutely making it work, builders who really know their stuff, if you've got no science and it's all hustle, we call that Theranos. On the other hand, if you have absolutely the best science in the world and no hustle, we call that academia. Right?
Yeah.
You need the balance. Whether you get a scientist and train them or whether you make a dream team, that is my number one insight. Thank you.
That's got to be a challenge, and thank you very much. I really appreciate everyone here on the panel and your insights into healthcare and biotech investing. It's something that we at the Family Office Club see people looking for all the time, daily. So we appreciate everyone being here. Thank you very much.
To listen to this full panel, join the Family Office Club by visiting familyoffices.com. We look forward to seeing you at our next live event.